there. Welcome to Meet the Expert. Today we have Kathyrn Baughman, and she had to tell me the correct pronunciation. Kathyrn Baughman has been in business. She's dabbling into AI, and she's going to share some juicy tips, advice, and we will get to know her together. Welcome in, Kathyrn.
Thank you, Casey. It's such a pleasure to meet with you, and
Yes.
I'm excited to share. So
yes, we good to hear. We've been seeing your post on LinkedIn. If you're new to the station, this is our little LinkedIn family, all the supportive nurses who are doing amazing things in innovation. And Kathyrn, you are one of them. So we can't wait to hear what you're up to, what you're doing, what your hopes, dreams, desires, and perspective for nursing is. So I'm going to just jump in and ask you some rapid fire questions. You ready?
yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, Kathyrn.
Yeah.
So you went from bedside to business. So that transition from going from bedside to business ownership, a lot of nurses want to do it. What are some pivotal moments that shaped your path? And what advice will you give to nurses out there who want to make the transition?
Yeah. So my best advice is, if you are currently at bedside, to really evaluate, like, is the energy, like, and in your current position, can it support you as you build your business on the side? And if not, then you might transition to a different paid position that will allow you that space. And so for myself, like, I did make that transition because both me and my husband were nurses, and we have 3 kids. So we have a family. We have, our oldest, he just graduated high school, but my youngest, she's 9. So we've been nurses for about 10 plus years. It's kind of was a second career for us. And we both started in the hospital and found it was extremely difficult. We thought, hey, you work your 3, I'll work my 3 to blend. And with weekends and holidays and all that, it never worked. And so
now, did y'all go to nursing school together?
we didn't go to the same program. No, like, I finished and then he started in, like, right after me. So, but we were both doing, like, he was doing his generals while I was doing my nursing program. So,
oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
My husband and I were nurses too.
Okay. So
I know I've been a nurse for a long time, and he's recently become a nurse. But I understand what you're saying about the schedules meshing. Wow.
Yeah. And so for me, I think for a long time I was trying to run away from nursing because it was such a pain point for our family. And that was my initial pivot, like going, hey, I need to do something else.
Okay.
But then I realized it kind of was a journey. But like I said, I transitioned into school nursing, and then I realized, you know what, my business needs to support nurses, because sometimes those big pain points in life, it gives you clarity on who it is that you need to be serving. Does that make sense?
It does. It really does.
So,
and it's not all linear. It's not all linear like we want it to be.
right. I would love it if things could be linear. Yeah. So anyways, I transitioned to school nursing, and I'm still doing that. But
Okay.
the beauty is that I have my weekends, my holidays, I have summers off. And so it creates that space where there's just way less stress in our home, and I can have that space to be able to create my business at my pace.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. And
Yeah.
that's the thing about nursing. There is space to do a lot of different things. You don't have to quit. You can look for something that really meshes. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So now you have a profitable business, and I would like to hear, what's your experience in actually creating the business? Because it's one thing to have a business, and it's another thing to work in your business and to work on your business, and that whole journey of being in business. What are your thoughts about?
Well, I think probably some of the things that have been, I would say, part of the journey is really getting clear on, like, your values, your vision, who it is that you want to serve, and the way that you want to show up. And that's probably, like, the most important thing is just really getting clarity on what it is you want to create in your life.
Mhm.
And as you're doing that, like going within your heart and asking yourself like what it is you really want, like,
Yes.
because sometimes we'll start building something for somebody else, or what we think we need to, how we need to show up. But it's like, really, we came into nursing, a lot of us, with that energy, that desire to really help people. And so just staying true with that and
Yeah.
tuning into that.
Kathryn, it's so interesting you say this because when I started my business, I say it really was more of a healing journey than a business because I was like, stick it to the we need better. We need to build better. We need a whole different healthcare system. And I was gonna make it. And I was like halfway through, I said, oh, I'm burning out here too in my own business. I'm burning out and I'm not even getting paid as well as I got paid. So wait, we need to redo this.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that brings me to what my next thing was going to be, was just keeping that balance, like as you start your entrepreneurship, because a lot of times we start it with this intention, like, okay, I want to change because I want better family life balance, or there's something that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're working and then you're starting a business, it's so easy to go into that burnout.
Yeah.
And and so setting boundaries, like on how much time you're going to spend like working on your business, and allowing yourself space and time to do it so that you can get that clarity and not burn out, and not, I mean, your kids are going to grow up. If that's your purpose, is for your family, like you don't want to miss out on a whole year of their life because you were so just
Yeah. Gone.
gone. Yeah.
Building. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's
building.
like, why were you building your business?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. And,
you
and,
know,
and, I think you're touching on something that we don't really talk about when it comes to entrepreneurship and business, because most people get into nursing to build a business or a lifestyle that can support their family. Nursing, you could do so many different things.
right.
Then you get into business, and that's a whole different mode. So I like what you say. Ask, why are you doing it? Because you could be doing it for legacy, you could be doing it for money, you could be doing it for so many different reasons. I don't
Mhm.
know if you're like me, if you're listening in. I was doing it for all of the above. I wanted to make
Yes.
change, I wanted to make money, I wanted to leave legacy. But when you're doing it when one thing is doing so many things, especially at the beginning, you burn out. You
Yeah.
don't make no money. You don't make the impact. Like it's too much. It's too much. So you have to just like really be focused. I think that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And can I add one more thing?
Yeah,
Like, in answer to
on.
your question. So yeah, so clarity, balance, and then just thinking like systems from the get-go. So think about how you can implement systems to avoid like burnout from the mundane things. So like, for example,
Mhm.
like you're probably going to be sending emails, and maybe you have an appointment calendar. You want to automate everything that you can, so that you're not, like, if you have appointments with clients, you're not having to send them reminders. Like, just have systems in place from the get-go. And it may take a little longer to get it set up initially, but just think, how can I put this into a system so that I don't burn out from just sending email reminders and silly little things that don't need to take up energy?
Absolutely. I do I help I coach and I help nurses become visible, internally and externally. So that subconscious visibility and also that external visibility. And they say, oh, Casey, you're everywhere. I say, man, I learned how to automate half of this stuff because you would literally be on your phone 24/7 trying to keep up with social media. You can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you something because you talk about systems, and I know you're in the world of AI. AI is so new; we're all dabbling through it. But you really, I think you are using, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're using AI to actually help build the business. And I'm really
Mhm.
interested to hear how you do this. What are you doing? Because I love AI.
Yes. So I talk about AI because I fell in love with AI when let me back up and just give a little background. So 7 years ago or so, like I said, I was trying back in 2018 to run away from nursing because it was a huge pain point for our family. And so I started taking a marketing course. And so I was learning like how the whole digital marketing, like all of that worked. But my most difficult challenge was being able to write. Like writing just isn't a strong point for me. And so being able to put things into words like was a challenge. Like I understood like these systems and all this in my head, but being able to write at a pace to keep up, like to get content out there, it was really challenging. And so it was kind of a stopping block. And so then when I saw AI probably, a year and a half ago, and I saw the possibilities with it, I was like, oh my goodness, like it can help like tremendously. And so I talk about what I discovered when I got into AI and using it to help build like business and systems. Like the first thing that I think you should build is like focus on is your personal branding. Like if you're building a business.
Yeah.
And so I was learning a system. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen like, there's like sometimes on somebody's website, there's like a chat bot and you can train it with AI to respond to people. And when you're create a database of like a knowledge database. So yes, so like there's those chat bots and like, so people can come onto your website, they can communicate, they can ask questions, and AI, like there can be like an AI agent that answers based on a knowledge database that you have fed it about your business. And so it gave me this idea as far as personal branding goes, that if we create everything into like our own little database, and basically it's learning how to use Google Docs, but to put everything with your business, like your business model, your personal branding, keep all of it organized into a document using tabs. And that way, whenever you use, if you've noticed like with ChatGPT, with Claude, like you can connect to your Google Drive and you can upload files. And so then when you're going to use AI and you want to create something, you can upload that database. It gives the AI all the information it needs about your personal brand, who you are, who you serve, your products, like that type of stuff. And then it can make sure that like anything that you produce stays in alignment with your business model and your brand and your voice.
Love it.
Does that make sense? Go ahead.
Let me see if I understand. So you are working with AI and you're training them on your business so that you're working with Google Drive and ChatGPT so that they stay in alignment with what your business model is. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. So that when you create content, like it gives AI more information to reference.
Yes, I love this. Now, have you used this in your business and what results have you seen from it? Or how does it help you with burnout at least?
Yes. So basically, what I ended up creating with my business was everything I wish that I would have had when I was trying to start 7-8 years ago. And that is taking those marketing principles and then creating like personal branding. So I teach nurses how to do that, like, because basically there's a list of marketing questions. If you were to hire somebody to do your personal branding, you would have to answer a big list of questions that just kind of, it triggers, like, it helps you to define like who it is you want to serve, what you have to offer, like what your value proposition is, what your brand story is, and then they connect it together to create your personal brand. So there's a ton of questions, and basically we can answer those questions and then give AI the prompts that form it into nicely articulated messaging that
Yeah.
you can use like on LinkedIn or on your website or that type of thing. So I actually think sometimes that we get too caught up in thinking we need to have a website to start with. And so I take these principles for marketing, and honestly, like for nurses, like you can just start on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn can act as a storefront for you. And so I teach nurses how you use AI to format your LinkedIn in a way that it acts as that storefront. It's all about who you serve, and you're going to draw them in on a warm handshake, being really authentic with who you are and what you have to offer and the transformation that you can provide. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And this podcast is actually geared for LinkedIn, even though we are on Apple Podcasts and all YouTube and everything. It's really meant for LinkedIn because here's what I gotta say, and you can chime in. LinkedIn has a really special environment for nurses because in the big world of nursing, nurses, even though we don't like it, we eat our young. We are not the best towards each other. But you get on LinkedIn and you're kind of like in the twilight zone because that has not been my experience at all. I have experienced the opposite where it doesn't matter if you're in business, you're in school, you just got into nursing school, you put it out there on LinkedIn and somebody get hold of it. Everybody's cheering you on. They're so happy. So I talked with my friend Dina. She's over there in the UK, and we were like last year, we were like really gung ho for nurses to get on LinkedIn because LinkedIn has a community that already supports nurses doing
Mm-hmm.
business, innovation, challenging the system. But what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying, Kathryn, is that your business is actually to help these nurses to not go build a website, not go get some expensive marketing program. I'm going to be honest, my program is expensive if you want me to do your marketing. But you're here to help them in the start, in the beginning stages, where you say, hey, let's update your profile. Some of them don't even have a picture. Banner.
Right.
It just looks like a resume, when it's prime property. So that's what you do. Is that what you
Yes.
do? Get you
Yes.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. I love seeing what you do. And I know a lot of people say, Casey, you have a marketing company. How you have all these people coming on? But I'm like, listen, first of all, our nurses do not like marketing. They don't like to pay for it, they don't like to talk about it, and they don't even want to be seen. So as many people saying, hey, you are valuable, you are visible. I'm here to help you. My personality might not suit them, but they may be like, okay, Kathryn, I like what
Yeah.
Kathryn's doing, pretty low key, not telling me I need to start a show or do anything out there. Let me work with Kathryn. But I'm really for the nurses, work with someone because marketing is really, really important. Have you seen it, Kathryn, when you find so many valuable nurses who are actually offering like you meet them, you're like, oh my gosh, if people knew what you did, they would be lined up, but you're not visible. Have you seen that?
Oh, yes. Yes. That is like the biggest challenge, right? And I think for nurses in general, like we don't like tooting our own horn.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm.
you know what
Yes.
I mean? And I don't know, like I honestly do not like social media. Like
Mhm.
I've
Most
always been very like turned off by it. I feel like it is an energy drain, that kind of stuff. And so I'm with you. I love LinkedIn. It's very supportive, and I feel like it is a great space for nurses to grow. And yeah, it's great.
Kathryn, and I think it's all too with personality as well. Because, I only got on social media in 2020 during the pandemic. I was having a baby, and I was like, this thing your voice could like amplify so quickly.
Mhm.
It was really interesting to me. But I think also your personality, some people get energy from being around people. Some people, it takes all their energy to be around people. like I go to conferences because that gives me energy. I love people. I love being on video. But even if you're a natural, it's still social media is still something you have to learn. It's still different. But I love what you're doing because our nurses need to be visible, especially
Yes.
on LinkedIn. And it's not just with business, even for jobs. Like
Yes.
you brand yourself right, you put yourself in a whole different category for a job. Like you're not fighting anymore. They can go and tell who you are, where you've been. Nobody
Yeah.
watches that little paper anymore. They see your activity, who you're talking to. Do you speak like a leader, or are you just looking for a paycheck? This comes.
Right.
Okay, let me stop talking. I'm talking way too much, Kathryn.
No, I love it. I love so much of what you have said. Like, I totally agree. Like, and I think as nurses, like, we need to come together and realize, like, we're not in competition
No,
because we are going to serve different people. And that's the beauty of it. Like, it, everyone is needed. Like, honestly, like, and there's no competition, but we need to work together to elevate
absolutely.
our profession too.
Absolutely. And the thing about it, I'm just being really honest with you. For as long as I've been in business with my little holistic niche boutique marketing company, I've had such an amazing time working with nurses from all around the world, helping nurses market. I do see that pain point. So most of my paying customers have not been nurses because they don't want to pay for the marketing, because they don't understand what branding and marketing really does.
Mhm.
But I think as we, the nurses, really interact with our fellow nurses, we really help them in a different way, because a typical marketer, they push, 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 push. They want to see you. They want you to see. They want to do. It's kind of like real salesy tactics, and nurses are like,
Mhm.
I don't want that,
Mhm.
you know. But we're like, listen, we know what you have. We know who you are. We know you don't like to toot your own horn. This is why we are here to help you. And it's really created that trust, Kathryn, for our fellow nurses to say, we're nurses too, and we see you.
Yeah. And one of the things you said made me think, like, we don't like being salesy. And when you learn how to use LinkedIn and social media in a way that you tune in with what it is you really want to do and how you want to serve people, and then when you go out and you just share, like, you just share and don't hold back, like, just share and be authentic, and then be authentic with your interactions with others, like, just support them and give. And it's very natural for nurses, like, it when you just be yourself and stop feeling like you're selling, like,
Yes, yes.
it it'll flow. Yeah.
You're right. You are very right. And when you come onto LinkedIn, if you're looking at this, it's a community. So some people say, well, I've been posting and I see all their beautiful posts and no engagement, not a like, not a nothing. And they're like, what's going on? It's because you're not engaging with anybody else. You don't have,
Mhm.
nobody knows you. So you are literally posting like how they used to do message in a bottle back in the day. You just send it out. Who
Yeah.
is it going to? Who knows, right? But when
Yeah.
you start engaging, and I've interviewed some people like Sarah Fong and Dina Paoloni, and now you, Kathryn. And what I do is I tell them, I say, come watch the show, engage. This is my gift. I'm not charging anybody. This is my gift, so that you, the audience, get to know who these people are on LinkedIn. Reach out to them. I liked your podcast. Tell me more about what you're doing. Could you support me? Because not everything is always dollars and cents. I think nurses have a strong social currency that the world recognizes, but we fail to tap into. This is my way of saying, hey, let's tap into each other's social currency. Let's
Yeah.
support each other. They might not be my client, but at least maybe who is on their network could be your client.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It really is just realizing, like, you know what, let's build together, right?
Yes, yes,
And when you go out and, like you said, with engagement, like, one, that is so important, to go out and engage. And it's not about posting your links on other people's stuff. It's just literally about going out and being human and saying congratulations, or this is how I feel about what you said, and this is how sharing something to help their post go further too. And when you approach it that way, like, that's when growth happens. And people may not comment initially on your post, but realize people are still watching. Like, sometimes they're just seeing if you're going to keep showing up.
Yes, absolutely. That's true. And sometimes, we, especially like if you are in the mindset that business is service and you're like, you feel this call to serve other people, you come onto the platform and you're like, I'm ready to serve, right? But
Mhm.
sometimes, and this is where my holistic stuff comes in. As nurses, we are really good at giving. We're really poor at receiving. That receptive muscle needs some exercise. So what I tell my clients is like, your first 6 months, you need to come on and just receive. And there's good stuff to receive. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a buffet and I'm like, ooh, that's good. That's good. Oh my gosh, I didn't think about that. And I just tell the people, this is awesome. And then I repost it and they say, oh, Casey, the marketers, people say, you shouldn't just repost, be original. I'm like, I'm secure. I know I have content, but this is good content. Why am I going to create when they did a better job? Let me
Mhm.
amplify them. And then sometimes when you just leave a comment, it shows up on your feed for everybody else to see. So you didn't even reshare, you just comment. But it
Yeah.
helps. It really helps. So it's like a really good community here on LinkedIn.
Yeah. When I do, sometimes when I repost stuff, I use that as like my gratitude post. Do you
Yes.
know what I mean? Like, to give gratitude for people that have helped me, or
Yes.
their content helped me or gave me insight. And I feel like gratitude's a really good energy to, just to, it goes far. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yes. Do you remember when you first came on LinkedIn, what your experience was?
Um, yeah, but what are you looking for?
Oh, because well, girl, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. When I first started, it was my post was a hot mess.
Oh,
I was a hot mess because I like you writing. I feel like I'm a good writer, but I hate punctuation and all this stuff. It slows
mhm.
down my energy, so I just put it all out, and then it's like, whoo! The lady say, Casey, this is really hard to read. You ever thought about breaking up making a
Oh,
line between? But so many people just tell you. You ever thought about doing this? You ever thought about doing that? And eventually you start seeing how other people post and you say, oh, that is easier to read, that's
yeah,
better. So sometimes you need someone to actually help and coach you. And I have this show called Meet the Experts, but it's experts not because we have master's degree in marketing. It's experts because we did it wrong. We did it, it didn't resonate. It was all over the place. And then finally we got into a groove and we say, okay, we'll reach back and help some nurses. That's the expert that this whole show is based on, right? So if you
yeah,
look in and they say, oh my gosh, well, Kathryn, she's like, she went to the marketing class and everything. Don't get overwhelmed. She went there for you.
yeah,
Reach
yeah.
out to
And
Mhm.
and I was gonna say, with AI, like, when you start networking with people and you see posts and you like their format, you can take that and plug it into AI and say, hey, here's my ideas and what I want to say. Don't copy this, but I like the format. Help me format a
Yeah.
post in this style. You know what I mean? As you start to find what works for you.
I love it. I love what you said. As you said that, it reminded me of something I wanted to say. About 2 years ago, I went to this conference and it was here in Orlando, and it was like so top of the edge. Like it was like things to come. And they had a little mini AI masterclass, and they were talking about how to this day, like right now, AI, sometimes you're talking to people on LinkedIn and you think they're the ones talking back to you. And it's not them, it's an AI bot that's talking
Oh,
to you. some people have AI so embedded in their LinkedIn that you could have a whole conversation with them and it was never the person. But I always say the energy of authenticity, everybody knows.
Mm.
So if you're going and you're just putting in, trying to copy somebody else's work, or you're just
Yeah,
trying to not really truly connect, that will show up too with
yeah,
AI, you
yeah.
know?
No, and I think it's all about, I'm all about using AI authentically to help
Yes,
draw your voice out, articulate for those that struggle with that. But it really, like, you need to read through it and make sure that it is a true reflection of how you're feeling and what you wanted to share.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes you read it back and it makes sense to you, but nobody else, especially if English is not your first language. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's not your words. You do need that AI to help. Now, Kathryn, my last question. I know I got way off course, but
Oh, it's fun.
I get so excited talking with you. Now, if somebody is like, oh my gosh, I really like Kathryn. I've been seeing her stuff. I'm kind of nervous about AI. I want to work with her. How will someone work with you? What's the process like?
Well, I would definitely connect with me on LinkedIn and send me a message. Like, and
Yes.
I don't have any AI bots like that respond back. It's me personally. Like, I'm all about authenticity. Like,
Love it.
you can reach me that way. You can also send me an email. It's Kathryn at pulsetechai.com. And yeah,
That's awesome.
and I also have free gifts on my LinkedIn. And so you can connect in through my system that way.
Awesome. See?
Yeah.
LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the link
Mm-hmm.
to. I have one last question because it's on my soul and in my spirit. So I just have to ask you it, right? And it's a really throw of the loop. So whatever you say is A-okay. There's nothing I'm looking for. If money and time was not an a barrier for you, what transformation would you like to see in healthcare?
Oh, that is a big question, but it's definitely something that I have thought a lot about. And I feel like nurses, we have given away our power and we need to take it back because we we have the ability in so many ways to impact healthcare. And I feel like it's not going to happen necessarily from the inside, but it's going to happen from the outside, and from nurses that are willing to step into entrepreneurship and really like create better ways and better systems. There's just too much. I don't know. I don't want to get into the craziness, but I just feel like there's too much money in big pharma
Oh,
with medications and all of that, that the system's a little bit, it's weighted that way, and if we really want to see health transformation, nurses know, like, it goes deeper than just putting a band-aid on issues. And I think a lot of us are feeling burnt out because it feels like all you're doing is putting band-aids on. And we know that true transformation in health, it comes from a deeper level than that, you know? And
yes,
and so I think branching out into entrepreneurship and like really serving people that way,
yes.
whether it be health coaching or however, I mean, there's so many different ways that support is needed.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I would just put this plug and say successful and sustainable entrepreneurship. I think that's going to bring our power back big time. I agree
Mm-hmm.
with Kathryn.
Thank you,
And with
Casey.
that said, I appreciate you coming on, meet the experts. Thank you for sharing your expertise with the lovely audience. And if you've been with us for so far, this is 20th, at least when I'm counting, it might be more, but this is the 20th episode. So if you've been with us so far, thank you so much. I asked Kathryn all of my questions. Do you have any questions to Kathryn? Leave it down in the comments box below. And then if you have anything that you want to say about the show or you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to me. I would love to have you. But thank you so much for being here, being a faithful viewer. My fellow nurses out there, you know yourself, always, always supporting every Sunday at 4 p.m. Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate you. And we would love to amplify you in whatever marketing endeavors or branding endeavors. Reach out to Kathryn, reach out to me. We'll see you next time. Thank you.